All right, guys, welcome to our screencast. We want to introduce to you, as you see on the screen, a flipped classroom. So the idea of a flipped classroom is being able to differentiate, showing mastery in our classroom through basically having the instruction go outside the classroom through various types of videos that each of us created or found, and then teaching and showing them what we have. There are obviously, this shows you a good indication of what we're talking about, literally having the students either watch it on their iPad or computer and whatnot. I know for me, I showed a screencast of my lecture. What did you guys show?
Well, I showed a video that went along with the Super Bowl commercial, as we were doing the media and messages module in business communications, and they got to watch the video, the Cam Newton commercial with Buick, and they got to break down what the message was in that commercial and how that relates to business communications. So they got to do that at home, come back in, and then they were assigned a different form of media to use for advertising, and then they came together as a group and they were experts in their form of advertising, but it all started with that commercial, Super Bowl commercial.
Now, and each of us will also share some of our other ones, but there are definitely benefits to it. One, it allows the students to learn at their own pace. It allows for the lessons to be taught in different areas, differentiated, working out, taking their time for kids to see it. Also, it allows us as teachers to really find out which students are getting it and which students are not. As you can see, most students really enjoyed it and felt that it really had an impact on them and that they wanted to do it. I know my students really loved the lesson. What about your guys? Did your students really enjoy the lesson and able to really get the material?
I think so, especially with mine. What I did was with construction drawings, which is usually a very dull, boring topic for my students. And with mine, what I did was showed a YouTube video on how to build a scale model house, which is what we're going to do at the end. And it really grabbed their attention so that I could introduce and kind of pull them in there and introduce that topic that's usually boring and get them excited about it as kind of an end project they get to do.
So, how do you flip your classroom? First, you choose the tech or the video, the lesson that you want to have, and you go through. For me, like I said, I did a unit on elections and how the process works, and I had them go through a mock election in class based on the lesson we have. Coach Breimer, what did you use?
I was able to use more resources. Of course, I don't have a seismograph here at school, and kids don't get an opportunity to see one. However, using the video, they were actually able to see the equipment that scientists use to study earthquakes. And what we did was we used that and the vibrations and took a measurement of the two different lapse times between the two different types of earthquakes. And by using that, we were able to determine the epicenter. And it did a real good job of allowing the students to do some hands-on work and being able to use computations and see how measurements are really used in the real world.
Now, as you can see, each of us also created some sort of assignments or assessments in the class to do so. I know for me, I used quizzes to help find out if they understood things. I also did the mock election to see if they followed the process correctly as they went through. Jay, how did you do yours by using concussion?
I basically used the movie Concussion to help reinforce basically concussion-type injuries during my head injury section in class. It's, again, to piggyback off everybody else, it's a difficult subject matter to physically teach, being able to see models and see MRIs and x-rays and have it explained through the form of a movie helped to reinforce when I was teaching it in class.
And as you can see, this is Jay's questions he asked afterwards. Jay, did you find any difficulties that you had?
Not really. The question and answer sheet is more just to see if they actually watched the movie. It has questions and answers that pertain to the movie. But if they were able to watch the movie, then they were getting the content behind it. And also the follow-up when we would go over the unit in class, they actually knew some of the answers to the questions I was asking.
And this just goes to show you some of the others. This is the Super Bowl commercial that Coach Anderson was showing earlier with his media log and questions. Coach, what struggles did you guys run into, or did you find they were able to pick up the concepts pretty quick?
Well, thankfully, because we set aside groups, whether it be media log based on a TV commercial, newspaper advertisement, magazine advertisement, or a web advertisement, they were able to use this as a commercial to set the tone as far as what we're looking for, what's the message, how do they incorporate that into certain products, and then that laid the foundation for later when they came together in advertising teams to come up with an advertising campaign for a certain product for a certain company to work together. So they worked independently, and then they came together as a group with one advertising campaign.
This is Coach Breimer's video, as you can see, going over, I believe, the seismograph you said. Is that correct?
Yes. And this is just real life application of what we see. Earthquakes are not it's a rare occurrence for us here in Georgia. So this gives students the idea of what's taking place worldwide as our planet is continuing changing.
And that's his video. This is my video found on Canvas. A little lecture. You can see I have my face on there as well. And just some pictures of my students working, actively watching the lessons, and then we did our mock election afterwards. This is Coach Conley, who couldn't be here. He also showed his video of Midway. And then, again, just some other examples. I think we're out of time, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll be able to show you how to flip your classroom. Thank you.